Hey guys, it's Brandon. I'm going to play a 15-minute game today. And I'm playing somebody named Lilo, rated 1989 on the standard rating. So a pretty strong player. And looks like we're going to get a Slav. So, I've been playing the E3 Slav lately. So let's see what happens here. Bishop F5. I have a whole book about this that I looked at recently, and I can't remember what it was I'm supposed to do on Bishop F5. Probably just play Knight C3. My phone's going off. Yeah. Black sort of gets, a good structure with the bishop outside of the pawn chain. Man, I really wish I remembered what it was I was supposed to do, but I don't. Okay, so he's going for this Carlsbad pawn structure here. Maybe I could try to grab the bishop with Knight H4. Maybe he just plays Bishop E6, but I haven't castled, so if he plays Bishop to G6, I'll just take it. But if he plays Bishop E6, I'll probably just play Bishop D3. So, taking away this B1 to H7 diagonal from his bishop. And if he goes Bishop G6, I'm going to take the bishop and just try to claim some advantage from the bishop pair here. So this is a 15-5 game. So there's a 5-second increment, so there won't be any time scramble nonsense here. So let's see what he decides to do. Either Bishop E6 or Bishop D7. I'm going to play, I think, Bishop D3. And then if he plays Knight E4, attacking my knight on H4. Maybe I can just go back to F3. It's a little slow, but it should be fine. This is interesting. I don't see why I can't just take it, or maybe even play F3 first. Yeah. Just play F3. Now he has to go Bishop G6. Yeah, I think I just take. Yeah. And this gives me a nice the two bishops. And probably I'll have to castle queenside because it looks dangerous to do kingside castling with the H file open. But so maybe I'll prepare queenside castling with an attack on the B7 pawn. Bishop D2, queenside castle. He could go kingside castle and make it an opposite color, an opposite side's castle the attacking game, but I think I should be okay in that position. Just better in the center, and I have probably the quicker play with H4, H5 maybe, or G4, H4, G4, H5, that kind of thing. But first, he has to do something about the B7 pawn. Queen c7, queen b6 even, yeah. I'm not sure if I want to take and just help his rook get developed and all of that. Give him a better pawn structure. But then, if I do take, I can play a quick e4. That should be enough for at least a small advantage. Let's take and play a quick e4. Just moving along in the center here. Don't really have to worry about any nonsense with the opposite sides castling. So it's kind of a funny position where neither of his rooks have moved off of the H or A files, but they're both sitting on the semi-open files now because of the exchange of the bishops and the exchange of the queens. So his rooks are sort of, in a sense, already developed. So that's a little unusual. Yes, he's pinning the knight and putting pressure on e4. That's logical. But I think maybe I can just play e4, e5 here. Yeah, I'm going to play e4, e5. I don't want to play bishop to d3 because that gives him a chance to take on d5. He takes d5. Well, that could be okay. But I just want to push his knight back. Okay, his knight went to the edge of the board. That seems a little strange because isn't it just losing the knight? I was thinking g4, but then he can play actually knight to g3 because if I take the knight on g3, my rook is hanging. So maybe I can play king f2 and threaten g4. So now I'm threatening g4. And he's got to do something about his knight. How can he make a square for that knight? It's a good question. A knight on the rim is dim, as they say. I'm not sure. Maybe he can play f5 here. Maybe that's the only move, but then still g4, right? So I think this move knight to h5 was a blunder. I think he's going to have a lot of trouble holding on to the knight now after I play g4. I've just pre-moved this this take here. I don't think anything changes whether or not he takes the knight. So I'll just pre-move that. I'm going to have to recapture anyway. So he's in a bit of a tough spot here. I'm thinking f5. Still I can play g4. g5 doesn't work, I just play bishop takes g5. Maybe g5, bishop takes g5, yeah, and then g7 to g6, just to make a square for the knight on g7. Yeah, that was probably his only move, and now he has to play g6, g7. But it's a pawn, so I can't complain too much about that. Oh, okay, yeah, f6 is another option. But with his king on the e file, is that really in his best interest? But in any case, I'm up a pawn here, so I shouldn't be too unhappy. Yeah, g takes. I think I'll just go back to d2 here. Yeah, just go back to d2. His king's on the open e file. He can just move it out of the way, but still, I'll bolster my center if he takes here. Okay, so does he want to bring his bishop or his knight to f4 with this move? Is that the idea here? And is it worth playing g3 to stop any of that nonsense? Actually, if I play g3, he can play knight takes g3 because of the pin. Maybe I should just develop. And then he can play knight to f4 now. Knight to f4, but I can maybe check on the e-file. So currently have a one pawn advantage here, and the bishop pair, which is nice. Okay, he wanted to just get his king off of the f file, or off of the e file, and I was thinking maybe g2, g3 now, just to keep his pieces out of f4 and sort of blunt the bishop on this diagonal. Maybe the rook and the bishop could make some problems for me on the h2 square, stuff like that. So I think this is a nice prophylactic move. I don't have to hurry here. I'm up a pawn, and I'm going to be quicker on the e-file. So knight b d7, maybe rook a e1. Yeah, I'm thinking maybe rook a e1. Seems logical. My knight is covering the a2 pawn, so I don't have to worry about that. Although maybe he can play. Oh, I thought he may have had bishop to b4 there. Knight to f8. What does he want with this move? Does he want to go to g6? I don't know, but I'm going to cut out any bishop b4 nonsense and just play a3, blunting the rook on the a file, and knight e6. Okay, that's fair. Just centralizing his knight. Where do I want my knight? I don't think my knight's not doing anything in particular on c4, so you know, it's probably my least effectively placed piece. So where would I like it? Is the question. Knight e2 to f4 doesn't really do anything. Well, I don't know, but I do know it's not really helping me on c3. It has no future there. So it's going to be tough to find a square at all for it, really. It's not a particularly good position for my knight right now. G1 to h3 doesn't accomplish anything at all. I'd love to trade the knight, of course, but I don't think I'll be given the option to trade that. Yes, c1, or knight c1 to b3. I don't think does anything. So he is he's going to just play on down a pawn and I guess try to draw the position. Maybe I'll just play bishop e3, covering the d4 pawn. Oh wow, this d4 pawn was hanging when he played knight e6. Huh. Good thing I played knight e2 because I wasn't even thinking that the d4 pawn was hanging. Good thing indeed. Maybe I can reroute this bishop to f5. I'm not really sure what it's doing there. So it's a nice position for me. Okay, he's probably going to play e4 and just try to get rid of his weakness, create some play on the queen side. I'm thinking about maybe h4. Pick up some space. b4 takes, bishop takes is attacking the rook. But then maybe rook a1. I'm going to just play h4 and pick up some space. It's a passed pawn. It's should be pushed at some point. So I'm thinking he's probably going to play b4. But then g4 maybe? Knight f4, knight takes f4, knight takes f4. And then maybe bishop f5. b4. We'll do this. Let's see, g4, knight f4, knight takes f4, knight takes f4. Bishop f5, but then can you take the... No, because the knight... Okay, I can play this, all of this, because he won't be able to take the a3 pawn because his knight on f4 will be hanging. The bishop will be the only one covering the knight on f4. So I'll be able to play bishop f5. And if he plays knight to g7, I'm thinking probably h5 with the threat of bishop to f5, a bishop to g6 check, skewering the king and the rook. So I'm thinking the variation knight f4, knight takes f4, knight takes f4, bishop f5. He won't be able to play ab. He won't be able to play ba3, ba3, bishop takes a3 because the knight will be on f4 and will be hanging because it won't have the bishop protecting it anymore. So hopefully, hopefully y'all can see that. I don't know. I don't know if he has any choice but to go into f4. I mean, knight g7 just looks really passive. Yeah. So here we go. I guess he could play bishop takes. And I'm thinking, yeah, bishop g. This was my plan here. Just trading a couple pieces and threatening to take on b4 now, maybe. Because of course he won't be able to take back because the knight is yeah, but he can't take the pawn. So now this has actually happened as I envisioned a few moves ago. So now you can see that he can't take the pawn on a3 because the knight is hanging. So perhaps he can play rook to a8, but then I think maybe rook b1, but then maybe he can just play b5, and but then I can just play rook a1. Should be okay. And in the endgame, I mean, the more pieces that come off of me, I think the better. Just because, yeah, I'm thinking I'm going to play rook to b1 here, and let the a pawn go. in exchange for grabbing the b pawn if he lets me with check. I don't expect that he'll do so. I think he'll probably play b5. In which case, probably I'll play just rook a1. Yeah, just rook a1 probably. At some point I need to play probably h5. I mean, obviously I need to play h5 at some point, but sooner rather than later. I'm going to actually play rook b3 to guard the a pawn, and then that gives me the option of maybe doubling on the b file, putting pressure on the b file. Yeah, I think that's a better way to safeguard the pawn. He has no way to capture the pawn at the moment. Huh? Well, I have to do this at some point, so why not just push the pawn? Passed pawns must be pushed. Oh, he's not going to take any care of this pawn, huh? Okey-doke. I mean, why not? Just push it all the way to h7, where it's protected by the bishop. Yeah. This is not a position he wants to be in. He's getting passive. So just stick the pawn on h7. It's protected by my rook and the bishop. Yeah. He's attacking my pawn on d4. Question is, do I need to take? Or can I play? Let's just simplify.
Check.
Still, my pawn is guarded. Maybe g4, g5 now, yeah. And if he doesn't take, yeah, I don't think he can play. Okay. Didn't anticipate that. I was thinking he might try to play rook takes, but he wouldn't be able to because of check and then bishop takes. Yeah, maybe I haven't played this spectacularly here. I'm going to hold on to the a pawn. He can take on d4 now. Or can he? Rook h5 check. Yeah, he's going after my passed pawn. I guess that that makes sense. But what about rook h6 check here? Doesn't that just pick up the bishop?
Check.
And it's just picking up the bishop? Seems like it is. I should be able to go up a bishop here. Let's see if he fights on. Probably will.
Black resigns.
Nope, he decided to resign. Okay. So that was an interesting game. Let's take a look with the computer. Do I have my little thing here? Oh, I do. Okay. So let's see. Extra marks. Read all marks. So let's just take a quick look at the computer. Yeah, I gotta remember. I can't remember what I'm supposed to do here on bishop to f5. Stockfish likes knight c3 and knight h4. Oh, but it didn't want me to take first. But it did like this knight h4 idea. I think this is really the best way to play. Just getting the two bishops. The computer thinks it's well, a little better, but not much. Queen b3, queen b6. Yeah, it likes the way. It wants to play bishop d2 here. I think I just played e4. Yeah. e5. Yeah, just getting space. And now king f2. Yeah. And if he wants to play f5, he played g6. Bishop takes g6 and f6. Yeah, it's saying this is 2 pawns better for me. But I didn't make it look that way, that's for sure. Just development, and g3 it likes. So still saying 2 pawns better for me, but did something wrong. Knight e6. Yeah, I didn't even notice that the knight was attacking this pawn here. But I got a little lucky because I moved this knight because I wanted to reroute it somewhere. But turns out it was defending that pawn anyway. So I'm still holding an advantage here. Yeah, h4, it likes this, just moving the pawn. We wanted to play a4. Yeah, I thought about that, just trying to keep things closed on the queen side. That's probably a good idea. But then what about, I was thinking about this, and then, it's probably not a huge deal, but wasn't sure. So, I just played g4. Yeah. And this came, and so now, of course, you can't do this because the knight is hanging here. So, whoops, I didn't want to go that far. So we had this. Yeah, I've lost some advantage. He defended this position fairly well, I guess, or maybe I didn't play particularly well. Yeah, rook b3, h5. Yeah, just push the pawn. h6, h7. Yeah. I guess I didn't play this super accurately. Yeah, I've given away a lot of advantage here. But it likes g5. Oh, I should have played rook takes h6 first.
Check.
Because he has to go king d7 and then bishop g5. And I'm still held on to this pawn and I'm threatening this. So he probably has to play bishop e7. And then I can do this. Gives up this pawn, but I still have this passer, and these 2 pawns are very weak. So, oh, he can't even do that because of rook c7 check. So that wouldn't even be possible. So that would be a better continuation than what I played. It's not bad for me, this what I played here, but bishop c1. Yeah, this was just a blunder.
Check.
Rook h6 just accept the bishop. So. Alright, not a super accurately played game by me, but it was interesting, and hopefully you guys enjoyed it. And we'll see you next time.